All right, what's up, guys? So in this video, I want to go over Amazon payouts and what they are, why they take so long, why Amazon takes so long to send you your money. Because you make a sale, and then you're just like, okay, why isn't my bank account going up? And the reason is because Amazon holds on to it. But why? Why does Amazon hold on to it, and what doesn't people tell you? What don't other people tell you about it? Well, number one, they're the Amazon payout. What it is, it's Amazon sending you funds that they owe you. So it's going to be what you're getting paid is the amount that you've made in sales minus what is it? Refunds, Amazon fees, and a reserve amount. So I'll show you real fast. So if we want to look at what the breakdown is of each payment, you're going to come down here. First, you're going to come up to your little sandwich deal, come down here to payments, up here to payments again. It's going to come up to the payments dashboard. We're going to click on all statements. And right here is what Amazon will pay out. It's what you're going to receive. So my last statement right here, you can see that this is the amount right here that got deposited into my bank account, 117. Then you can see the breakdown of it. So it's minusing out this others, which this is the reserve amount. So they're holding this and they're going to put it here into the next statement. So this amount here is going to go from this statement to this statement. So they're taking money from sales that you made in this period, and for me it's 2 weeks. For a 2-week period, they're taking that money that I made the sales in with this 2-week period, and they're moving it to the next period. That way, well, I'll explain that a little bit here in a little bit. But right now I'm just breaking down the numbers. So they've moved this, taken it out of here and moved it here. So my sales, which is 3,978 minus 1,592 minus the expenses, which is Amazon fees, 1,216 minus the refunds, whatever I got returned or anything during this period, that gets taken out. And then what you'll have is, with this beginning balance, is again the reserve amount that they've taken from the previous period. So it's going to be this amount minus this, minus this, minus this, plus this will equal this. So this is the amount that you're going to get paid out. That is an Amazon payout. Now, why do they hold it? Why is it, a thing that they do at all? If I made the sale, I should get my money now. Well, if we look at this article that I found right here, this article breaks it down. It's a really good article if you want to check it out. It's like just kind of breaks down the payments of Amazon, how they do it. But what I thought was interesting is right here that no one really talks about. It just kind of accepted that Amazon reserves stuff. But before there was a holding period, sellers would sell large quantities of items with long delivery times. Some scammers took advantage of this situation, faking sales and collecting payments without ever spending without ever sending products to customers. When they didn't hold onto the payments, Amazon was too late to catch scams. Therefore, the fake sellers left the platform with their stolen cash. So that tells us that thanks to scammers and some bad apples that were Amazon sellers at the beginning of Amazon's life of doing this third-party selling system, they took advantage of it. They took advantage of Amazon and how they were, sending payments quickly. So now Amazon has to implement a holding period, which really sucks for people who are brand new, or individual. If you have an individual account, which you shouldn't, but you should have a professional account. But if you're a new seller or have an individual account, they will hold on to your money actually longer. It actually will take a new seller longer to get their money than it will us. So what Amazon does is, number one, you make a sale, right? And they won't they'll record the sale, but they won't actually even put it anywhere for a whole week. A whole week they wait and see if it gets returned or not right away. If it gets returned, then it takes even longer. Obviously, you're gonna get the return and everything, and you'll see the negative number on there. So you're holding. Either Amazon's gonna hold on to it for a week. They're gonna then deposit it into your statement, and then it takes another week to 2 weeks after that period for Amazon to even send you the payout, and then it takes another 4 or 5 days for the payout to get to you. So realistically, you're looking at a whole month. After you made a sale, it takes about a whole month from that period to get the sale into your bank account, and that's frustrating, but you have to understand where it's coming from. Obviously, Amazon's protecting themselves. There's not much we can do with that. But what you can do is, try to track it. If you can track it and understand what you're going to be getting paid out, because if you look at the statements, you can see that, they reserved 1,146 and put it here, but that's not like you're gonna get a little bit more than that most likely as long as you're making sales. Amazon does a lot of things on the back end that you're not gonna be able to explain, and it's really hard to understand why they're doing what they're doing. There's a lot of times where I'll get my payment that you see on here, but I'll also get another small payment afterwards, like 3 days afterwards. Why is that? I have no idea. It is a deposit. It is coming from an income deal, but it's not on any of my statements. It's not on any financial deal except for the reports repository. I can find them on there, but I can't find them on my income statements. Like, for example, you see this 2,117. I got deposited that a few days ago. But if we come back here, look at the statement view, you can see that on the 10th, which was 6 days ago, I got deposited $2,117, which I have a statement for, I have record for, no problems. But this payment right here, it got deposited as well on the 13th, and I have no record of this. There is no, if you look at my statements, this is from the US market too, there is no $70 deposit statement breakdown. There is none of that. I have this, which is all fine, got it, everything, got the breakdown and everything, but with this statement view, and this did deposit into my bank account, not there. I got an email for it saying it's coming. I can find it in the reports repository section, but I cannot find a statement for it. I cannot find record for it other than an email. And whenever I do find in repository reports, it does look like it's a regular deposit, should have a statement and everything, but for some reason Amazon does not give that to me. So there's a lot of things that Amazon does that lack explanation with the back end numbers and stuff. The best you can do is just track it to the best of your ability. Don't plan too much on what you're gonna get, because what you're gonna get is most likely not gonna be what you expect. Like if I'm going to expect to get 1,592 from the next statement, it's probably not going to be. It's probably going to be more, because I believe that there's a cutoff period. It doesn't really make it clear, but I believe there's a cutoff period within the 2 weeks. So I have a week after the 10th, and then there's a cutoff period. And I'm going to look at this and watch this a little more to see if that's correct or not. But I think that that's what it's doing, is there's a cutoff period where it'll stop, and the payout amount will stop growing over the statement period. But I'm not 100% sure on that. I will keep track of it and find out for you. But anyways, the next step, what you want to do to kind of track it as best you can, is account for it in QuickBooks the best you can. There's no other way to really account for this unless you're using QuickBooks. I highly recommend it. If you need my help you can book a call with me. It's a free call, free 30-minute call. And we can think about like working together with bookkeeping services. My website is jonesbookkeeping.pro because we're professional. Anyways, this is how you're going to break it down. So you can see that the total amount's right here, 2,117.18. So that's what was deposited into my bank account. Then you come down here and you'll see that I have the sales broke out. I'm splitting this deposit into several different accounts because it's affecting several different accounts. When I'm using the accrual accounting method, I'm trying my best to show the account level reserve here, and I'm also trying to break this all down. That way it's not just a cash method where I got this deposited and that's, you know, from Amazon, that's it. What I'm trying to show is I got this amount of sales, less than this amount of refunds, less the amount of fees, and then I show the reserves being taken out of the same account, my account level reserve. I've got it taken, the reserves being held right here, funds held, minus 1,592, and then the beginning balance, which you can see here, I just took this name right here, is going to be coming over into the into this statement. The funds being held is what's coming over, but this is what's being put into the current statement from the last statement. So this is just this was what was carried over from the last statement. And then all of this equals the total amount that was deposited into my bank account. This is the best way that you can kind of keep track of it and not do a whole bunch of guessing on things. You can't really track exactly what's going to be deposited. Like, I have no idea what's going to be deposited next 2 weeks for the next statement, I guess, because Amazon has held more money than in previous months and released more money in previous months. So it's kind of hard for me to understand the frequency of Amazon. It definitely has to do with your sales. The more sales you make in a statement, the more funds they're going to hold in that statement, obviously, because they're waiting to see if you get a whole bunch of returns or not, or whatever. It's just a mechanism that they're using to protect themselves. Like if booksellers is kind of different, unless you're like sourcing, you know, you're actively trying to source counterfeit books. But if you're doing wholesale or online arbitrage and you're sourcing from, you know, China or something, and they're sending you, you know, knockoff products, I don't know, of Air Jordans or something, then it's like, you know, is a knockoff brand though. It's not actually Nike making them. Then you get a whole bunch of returns all at once. They have those funds in their account to, you know, offset that. That way you yourself don't get into trouble, and then also you can't run away with money before you've, you know, completed your obligation with your sales. But that is about it with the Amazon payouts. I just wanted to go into that a little bit more, just because it's confusing. It's not a straightforward, you make a sale, you get a deposit. You make a sale, you get a deposit. Because it's kind of like eBay. When you make a sale, I mean, they hold on to it for a little bit, I think until you ship it, and then once you ship it, then they send you the funds. But it's not like that in Amazon. They hold on to your funds for a long time, like a month pretty much. So be prepared. If you're new, be prepared for that. And if you're new and you're like, you know, freaking out because you made a sale and you're not getting a deposit, that's why. It's because they're holding on to it, and they will every single time hold on to it. You can request it to be faster. There is an option for that, but you're running into they're going to charge you, I think, 1.5% per sale, not per deposit, per sale. They're charging you 1.5%. So it's very, 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 very much in your interest not to do that. Unless you just absolutely need the money right now in order to pay something off or something, it's in your best interest to wait. Just wait it out. That way you don't get in trouble and stuff. Well, in trouble. That way you don't pay so much in fees with getting it early, which is ridiculous. They definitely don't want you doing that. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.